This is Kardec Radio for Teens. Important life-changing events as seen through the spiritist perspective. Now it's time for real-life dilemmas experienced by teens themselves. The Diaries of Belinda and Alex with Carol Correa.
Hello, dear friends. It is a great pleasure to be here with you once again for another conversation regarding important turning points that we all may experience in our journey through life. As always, today we are going to revisit our dear friend Belinda to use her story, her real life stories, as a point of departure for us to discuss and unpack some of life's challenging learning opportunities in light of our beautiful spiritist philosophy. Last week, if you remember, Belinda was literally having a battle within herself. She experienced a battle of thoughts going back and forth within her mind, and it seemed as though her beautiful mind was going 1,000,000 miles per hour. So though her body was physically seated at school at the university while she was listening to an important lecture, her mind was going in all kinds of different directions. And she learned that by allowing her mind to literally race a marathon every single minute of the day, she was causing herself to become physically ill. If you remember, Belinda shared with us that she even experienced symptoms like stomach aches, headaches, and neck pain as a result of the constant pressure that her own mind was causing her to experience. Then we also discussed what we could do to address such issues. We talked about doing affirmations, visualizations, and engaging in deep breathing so we could align once again our physical bodies with our beautiful minds, which is where our spirits reside. Because we are incarnate spirits, my dear friends, we know that our physical bodies and our spirits, our real selves, are always connected to each other. But our spirit doesn't necessarily reside perfectly inside of our body. Our spirit is connected to us through the mind. This is why in our spiritist philosophy we discuss the importance of educating the mind, because once we educate the mind, the thoughts that are generated inside of us and the feelings we experience may and do shape the way we live our lives, even our health and how well we handle particularly challenging situations. So let us continue to strive today and this week and the weeks to come to literally nourish our souls the best way possible so that we can also nourish a healthy body. A healthy body starts with a healthier, even healthier mind. So keeping our goals in mind, we are going to revisit Belinda now as she shares with us another important learning experience that she is going through. This time we find Belinda once again at the university, and she shares with us the following experience. Goodness, oh my gosh, I'm running out of time again. You know, my life has been such a rush. I don't even know when my day starts and when my day ends. I mean, it's crazy. It's one rush after another. And you know, I don't have time for anything. It's unbelievable. I just decided to take in another internship at the university and to take part of another research project. Even though I'm an undergraduate, I signed up to write a thesis and develop a research project, because no way, I don't want to stay home. Staying home is so intense for me because of Betania and my parents always constantly asking me what I'm doing, what I'm not doing, what I should do, what I shouldn't do. That, whoa, dear diary, I can't handle the pressure. So what I decided to do is to not stay home at all anymore. I don't have time for this. I mean, I better just keep myself occupied. It's much better to keep myself occupied than to get involved in the issues at home. And my parents keep saying, come on, it's time for us to spend time together. You gotta make time for us. And we need to start going back to the center again. You have your friends there and you have mediumship, and so it's important for us to train our minds and for you to be there and to participate actively so that you find a balance in your life. But oh, dear diary, come on. Who has time to really devote themselves to anything outside of school? I don't have time for anything. Do you? Seriously? Gotta go. Bye. So, dear friends, as you can see, Belinda is now running literally against the clock. She reminds me of her narrative of the crazy bunny from Alice in the Wonderland that constantly told himself, I'm late, I'm late, I'm late, I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta go, gotta keep going, gotta keep doing this, gotta go, have a meeting, have to go, there's someone waiting. Do you recognize yourself in this narrative, my dear friend? I certainly do. In our current society, it's so common for us to get caught up in our own to-do list and move from one activity to another, to another, to another, to another, to a point where we don't even anymore remember who we are, or remember that we have physical needs like eating or taking a rest or speaking to a friend or taking the time to exercise or taking the time to even relax. The term relaxation for us seems a bit foreign, right? Because we are so busy and so concerned with the next step or with the next goal that we might want to achieve, like going to college, applying for college, selecting a college, or if we are in college, getting a good grade, passing our assignments, making sure we understand the guidelines, and making sure that we do X, Y, and Z kind of activities so that we may apply for graduate school or for work in the future. There seems to be so many demands placed upon us that we forget sometimes that we are spirits living in a physical world, and that we have emotional needs and physical needs and mental needs that need to be attended to. In the case of Belinda, when she says that she purposely took more work so that she wouldn't go home, she is using work, it seems to me, as a tool to isolate herself from her own feelings and from her own relationships, including the relationships that she harvests with her parents. It seems like work is as a shield that protects her from potentially facing challenges that she needs to face in order to better understand her parents' motivations for encouraging her to achieve certain goals, or her own motivations for achieving certain goals in her life. If we, my dear friends, constantly behave as though we are the bunny in the Alice in the Wonderland story, we ourselves may not understand who we are or where we need to go. Sometimes stopping to meditate and to take an inner journey within ourselves, to look inwards is really important for us to understand how we are utilizing the opportunities that our Creator God grants us. Sometimes our motivation for accomplishing a particular goal may be to escape our own feelings or to escape our own reality, to run away from the environment that God has placed us in for very, very important reasons. So if we are utilizing the situations that we face in life, like studying or working out or playing video games or cleaning, as an opportunity to obsess about that particular activity and not spend time with ourselves or others, this may be a good time or a good opportunity for us to revisit our priorities, because even studying for hours on end while isolating ourselves, for example, may be a sign of an addiction, of an addicted behavior. An addictive behavior is a behavior that repeats itself again and 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 again, non-stop, like a vicious cycle that never ends. So it may feel for us as though we are caught in the eye of a hurricane and we keep swirling without even realizing that we are caught. If we see ourselves in this situation, my dear friends, it is important for us to take a few minutes break to examine our motivations for engaging in a certain activity or for reaching a certain goal. Ask yourself, consider, my dear friend, asking yourself the following: why am I doing this? Am I studying extra hard, or joining more study groups, or joining more extracurricular activities after school because I am concerned about my health and I want to take care of my body and mind, and this is a good way for me not to feel stressed? Or am I engaging in this activity because I don't want to stay home, because I don't want to talk to my parents, because this person has been annoying to me, so doing an extracurricular activity is a way that I can run away from this situation without having to tell them that this is how I feel. So see, there are different motivations that we all carry in our hearts for engaging in a particular activity or for embracing a new line of work or a new line of study. So it's important for us, my dear friends, to examine within our hearts how we are utilizing our time and for what purpose. According to our beautiful spiritist philosophy, time is a beautiful gift that God has given us. And God, through our own consciousness, will ask us what we have done with our time. For example, consider this: if we spend 1 hour or 2 hours a day watching TV, or 3 hours studying without talking to anybody and isolating ourselves completely on a constant basis, how many hours will we have experienced of complete isolation within 5 or 6 years? Do the math, right? It's a lot of hours. So let's keep a conscious account of how we utilize our time. Are we utilizing our time to nourish our souls and minds and bodies, or are we utilizing our time, spending precious hours of our time running away from our own experiences? That's an important question to ask. And the illuminated spirits who communicated with Kardec when he was putting together a beautiful spiritist philosophy, tell us in the Gospel according to Spiritism, chapter 17, Be Perfect, that a good person tries to use the gifts that God has granted them without abusing it. That is, without overusing that gift, without using it only for their own benefit or for their own desires, but also thinking of how what they are doing may benefit them as well as others. Also, the person who attempts to better themselves knows that the gift of time or any other gift that our Creator has granted us is but a deposit which we will be required to give account to. So we need to be aware that it is our responsibility to utilize our time and other gifts that have been given to us well. But the question is, my dear friends, how? How do we draw the line? How do we know when we are overusing a gift or simply utilizing it in a most beneficial way? The answer to this question is an answer that I have been very interested in myself. And today, what I would like to recommend to myself and to you, my dear friends, is that you consider studying your emotions in a very particular way. I don't know if you have heard of our dear Ben Franklin. He's one of our founding fathers of the United States. And when he was only 20 or 21 years old, believe it or not, he started studying his own personality. And in order to understand his own personality, he wrote down 13 virtues that he would like to better understand and cultivate in himself. He saw his own heart as a beautiful garden, and he decided to plant every day, consciously plant 13 virtues in the soil of his heart. So he literally kept a diary of how well he was doing in putting to practice the 13 virtues which he thought all of us, and himself in particular, should practice or cultivate to utilize our times well. And he decided to consciously practice one virtue a week and take note of how well he had done in practicing that virtue one little day at a time. He decided to focus on one little virtue a week because he thought it would be too much to focus on 13 areas of improvement every day. So to increase his chances to be successful in getting to know himself, he focused only on one area of improvement every day. Allow me, please, to read what the 13 virtues were. Benjamin Franklin describes the first virtue as temperance, that is, emotional balance. So if I feel like shouting or pushing someone away with words, I'm going to try to say what I'm feeling a bit more calmly without altering my voice, so that I can practice more kindness. So this is virtue number 1, or area of improvement number 1, temperance. Area of improvement number 2, silence. In this particular case, Benjamin Franklin invites us to practice not speaking, listening more rather than speaking a whole lot. Because if we learn to listen more, We may learn to understand others' perspectives more clearly, and we may also learn to understand our own motivations more clearly for doing or not doing something. Silence may be important for us to give room or make room in our hearts to actually understand how we feel and how others feel. The third area of improvement that Benjamin Franklin invites us to work on is order. He invites us to keep our days organized, to set clear goals for ourselves, to set small and clear goals for ourselves every day, so that little by little, one little step at a time, we may accomplish the big goals that we have in mind. The other area of improvement that Benjamin Franklin invites us to work on is frugality. What that means is an opportunity for us to live simply. So rather than possibly spending 2 hours every morning getting ready, maybe I could spend 10 minutes getting ready and do the essentials rather than spend hours doing makeup like I myself have done before. Frugality means living more simply, however living simply may be to us. We can investigate that ourselves. The other area of improvement that Benjamin Franklin invites us to think about is industry. That means determination or willpower to accomplish our goals without giving up very easily. So it's the inner voice that we may practice within ourselves that tells us, come on, keep going, you can do it, let's do it, give yourself another chance, you can do it, yes. So that's what Benjamin Franklin is inviting us to practice. Another beautiful quality that he invites us to take to heart is the quality of sincerity. How honest we can be with ourselves and others. So when we are about to speak, we can practice speaking honestly how we feel about a situation or how we see a situation. But before we say something, we can ask ourselves, is this kind? Is this necessary? Is this useful? Is this honest? Do I need to say it right now? Will the person listening benefit from it? So these are questions that we can take into consideration. Other virtues are justice, moderation meaning balance in what we do, not doing too much of something or too less of something else. So for example, in my case, if I want to have ice cream, I may have ice cream twice a week rather than every day, 3 times a day. That's an example of moderation. So we may think together this week about how we can be in better balance with ourselves. Cleanliness, keeping our space clean, keeping our mind decluttered, keeping our physical space decluttered. Right now at this moment, my husband and I are decluttering our apartment. And let me tell you, that makes an enormous difference. We are both feeling better right now, and we are putting all of the things we have into better use as a result, because we can find them better, and the things we don't need we can donate, and this is changing the way in which we feel about living here at our home. So this can definitely make a difference. At least for us it has. Tranquility. Can I cultivate peace of mind, or is my mind battling constantly with the things I should do, could do, have to do, must do, or haven't done? If we are facing this battle, consider once again, my dear friends, practicing the little skills that we introduced before. Humility is another one. Can I be humble? Can I recognize, am I brave enough to recognize that I need the support of others, that I'm not completely self-sufficient, and that the support of others allows me to be where I am? So, dear friends, this is a little preview for you of the virtues that, or areas of improvement, that Benjamin Franklin selected for himself when he was very young and beautiful, just like you. So this is an activity or a journal, a diary like Belinda that we can consider keeping, focusing on one area of improvement at a time in order to become more aware of how we are utilizing our time, how we are utilizing our energy, what we are focusing our attention on, and if there are areas in our lives where we can improve meaning the way we feel about them and the way we act, so that we may feel happier, more balanced, more in touch with our true selves by understanding our motivations for taking certain steps. So I hope, dear friends, that you have enjoyed listening to Belinda's adventures, and I hope that you accept the challenge together with me to take once again one more inner journey and recognize within yourselves how you are utilizing the beautiful gift of every day of your life as it unfolds before you. So until we meet again, I wish you many, many beautiful blessings, and I hope the gift of life brings you many, many, many more blessings as you get to know yourselves and your beautiful potentials and your mission in this lifetime more and more. May our beautiful, loving guardian angels embrace you and envelop you in all of our Creator's divine love. So be it.
This has been Kardec Radio for Teens. Thank you all for listening.